Hey,
How you
Rick, how you
doing?
doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. How you
Thank you.
been?
Good, good. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. We're
Pleasure, man.
super excited about this interview. I'm super excited to share with the world of Shawn Lee, my good friend from Kansas.
Thank you very much.
Nice. Well, I want to talk about the moment of inspiration and uh, and what do you do to get to the moment of creation? Because you, my friend, are the best example of what this channel is all about.
Oh, thanks, man.
Your music is so groovy, so moody, and it's Groovy Moody Music, and this is Groovy Moody Music TV, and I'm excited to share your music with the world. It has
Thanks,
been a
man.
great inspiration for me. You have been
Oh,
a
thank
great
you.
inspiration to everyone that I know.
That means a lot, man. Thank you.
And so let's get started.
I think, to answer your question, creativity is it's kind of a state of mind, it's a state of being. And I always feel like there's inspiration, in information all around you all the time. And I think being creative, being really creative, you kind of have to become like a magnet for all those things that are floating around all the time. And so you're like a vessel, for the things just to come to you and come through you. And it's about a state of mind, like I said, and just being really open, and I also think being creative has a lot to do with not thinking. It's about doing. And so it's this sort of internal gut instinct, this first thought, best thought state of mind. So it's that idea that the music sort of makes itself through you and you're participating in that process. And it's sort of like knowing exactly what you're doing and not having a clue what you're doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that sort of that nexus point is where it's at. So I kind of think you have to trust your creativity and your ideas and think that they're worth exploring, that they're worth developing. And I think it's better to do than to think too much. It's that sort of, just the creative side of the brain. And I tend to use, like, I feel like I plug my brain in to solve problems. So if I'm like, I get to a point and I'm not sure what to do, then I take a step back and I think really quickly, where can I go? Oh, here, I could go here. That's good. And then I go off again. And then I go until I run into a wall or I run out of gas. And then I do the same thing. I take another pause and quickly find, the nearest thing. It's not about trying to invent the wheel or trying to do the best thing ever. It's trying to do the best thing in that moment that's true to where you are. And you see what's happening later on, in the bigger picture. But I think it's important to move fast and instinctually and don't overthink it. Be natural, and I think, I'm still a big kid. So I still kind of live in that same kind of creative mind space that I've always had. And I'm not cynical about music and I'm not cynical about making music. I might be cynical about the music business, but that's another thing. That's another thing. But the reason I do it is because I like to create and I love music and it's what I do. So that is always pure. It's always like, I'm not trying to think, hey man, I need to do this. This is what's happening. You'll follow your own path, do your own thing the way that you do it. And you know what you're good at. And I tend to play to my strengths. And I'm more into refining stuff than trying to do things that, like, I don't know how to do that. How do you do that? I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the things I've been doing, most of my life. Still trying to get better at those things. and more efficient and you know what I mean? It's the opposite way of trying to extend vocabulary. It's about trying to hone in on what you can already do and be yourself and be as good at that as possible, and to be economic and efficient and more minimal and thinking about the space and, not what you're doing as much as what you're doing. It's equally important, those things, I think.
Right.
Random.
Well, that's you hit the nail on the head, as they say. For us as artists, we've been kind of immersed in that, and we've kind of learned the process through growing up, learning a bunch of music, and just having an undying love for music, basically, and being music nerds, if you will. So we each have our pockets of places like that we go into, and then when we start creating music, when we get to that point, we recognize that moment of inspiration, I think, and we act upon it that way, from that point. So okay, talking about past that, when you get an idea for a tune or a production, whether it's a riff or a drum beat or something, whatever comes to you, what do you do at that point? How do you approach post that moment?
I think every track, every song is completely different, the process. I start on all sorts of different things. Sometimes I might start with drums. Other times I might start, with chords. If I feel like it's a groove thing, instrumental thing, sometimes playing a groove is a good way to start. If it's something that's very chordal, I want the music to build and the dynamics to be written into the music. So I don't know what I'm going to do on the drums until I know what the song is. I mean, to give you an example, today I'm working on a brand new Young Gun Silver Fox instrumental track. And the last thing I did today was play the drums. And I'd already played the bass, several guitars, Rhodes, string machine, a bit of percussion. And I'd made a loop of myself from another song because I knew the tempo and the groove that I wanted. And then then I had to play drums to all those other things with a click after the fact, which is then then I'm playing the music. I didn't dictate what the drums are doing, what the music did with the drums. The music's dictating what I do on the drums, you see. So I feel like that's a better thing, because otherwise I might just play like a minimal beat, which is fine, but it might be a bit linear. So this way I'm playing off all the pushes and I know where they are now, So it's a better approach for me. I mean, it's kind of weird too, because, with feel and the push and pull of it all, you play to some other drums. It's a slightly different, groove. And so then I'll have to go back, and then once I know the drums are super solid, then I'll have to pull a few things in by editing or replaying a couple of bits or whatever it is. I mean, I flipped a pattern in the chorus on this where I was going boom, ba-bum, and I decided it needs to be boom, ba-bum, because the rest of the time it's the other. And I was like, no, that needs to happen here. So I'll have to redo the bass there, those kind of things. But it's weird when you're a one-man band, because sometimes you have to go forward and then go back a bit, and then it's not a straight line. But these things, they take whatever they take. It's the end result that matters, and not it's not as long as you do it to the best of your ability and every step of the juncture, then it's good. But you have to be willing to like go back and redo things and to rethink things. And I just completely redid a chorus on a track recently, which I don't normally do, but if that's what needed to be done, then I would do it, and I did. You see, so I mean, I'd like to nail everything the first time, and often I do, but sometimes I don't. And so it's kind of like, you know, you just want things to be as good as they can be, but you know, it's by any means necessary. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
I think
care.
it's okay. I think it's
The music
okay.
has needs, and you have to meet them.
Definitely, definitely. But I think it's okay, you know, to have these moments where you maybe edit something to make it work or whatever, you
Of
know.
course,
Um,
it's another tool. I mean, me and you are both players. We're both players, and so I think, you know, the instinct is to play and play, get a performance. But then, you know, if you edit intelligently and tastefully, you know, you get the best version of yourself, and not at the detriment of the playing. You know,
yes.
I think that's the thing. People might edit things on a grid, you know, and it's like make everything perfect, and then all of a sudden you've lost a lot of feel, and it becomes clinical. So I think it's important to have that thing to know when something feels good and it feels right, and it doesn't have to be perfect on a grid, on a click type of thing. You know, music in groove is all about how it pushes and it pulls and how it swings and how things play off of each other. And that's a real nuanced world, you know. I mean, people that have a strong pocket, it's a thing, you know, and it's personal. It's personal too. You know, I know you play with different drummers, and they put things in a different place, and it might all be good, but you know what I mean. Some things, you know, some people feel things in a different part of the beat, you know, and maybe sometimes there's a right and a wrong, but not always. You know, it's a shades of gray thing. I think if
Yeah.
it feels good, it feels good.
Yeah, I love the fact that everyone's different, and that brings a different perspective to us, you know, and makes us maybe it makes our decisions different, you know, based on the moment. Um, and it's a beautiful thing, you know. I think about a lot of the new and upcoming producers and musicians now who are used to working with click tracks all the time, and learning stuff from tracks that have been done on AI or you know, machines or loops or whatever that are sort of prefab a little bit. It might have some elements of creativity from them, you know, but it's not fully there. You know, it's not like listening to, you know, Herbie Hancock from the 70s and recognizing that that is true art because it was all done in the moment. All the players in the band were really good, and they were all good at improvising. You
Yeah, they
know,
were
it's that, yeah,
listening,
listening
playing
and
off of each
feeling.
other. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's another world. It's another realm.
Yeah, but you know, but I feel like if everybody kind of grows in that or grows from that or recognizes these things about the moment of inspiration and the way we create music like that, there's almost like the way the art comes out or the way the music comes out, it's more generally more honest
Yeah, yeah, it's more
and
true.
organic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I've had a few moments where, you know, like creating newer music, you know, as you do it more often too, you get better at it. But,
Oh, of
you know,
course. Yeah.
where you're able to improvise longer sections,
Yes.
you
Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and then you could still edit some stuff.
Of
And
course.
those records from the 70s have edits,
Oh,
obviously,
totally.
you know,
Yeah.
but the product and the outcome of the music is generally more satisfying to me, you know,
I
when
like to
it's like
think
that.
that, you know, music is not an exact science. You know, it's not a. I mean, there's an element of math and formulaic, theoretical things in it, of course, and you can reduce it to these things if you want. But I feel like music is magical, you know, when it's right, and it's mysterious, and it's beyond, you know, me and you know, like the great music's beyond us. It's like comes from another place. It's something we don't understand as much as we understand. This, you know what notes are in this, you know what C major 7 chord is. If I said you'd play it, but it doesn't mean that doesn't evoke a feeling which can connect to something else beyond what it is. And I think it's the idea of like sort of letting the music make itself, through you, rather than you making the music, but the music making you. And I think if I look at myself, I'm a great example of, if I look at the vocabulary that I have as a musician, I have played a lot, I have listened a lot, I've learned a lot of different things, but my instinct is to go for certain kinds of things on different instruments. And so I will have a repertoire of licks or chords or patterns, just like most musicians are. We have like a familiar place that we go to. But when you're creative, you can make so much more out of a few ingredients. You know what I mean? You don't have to have tons of stuff. You can like mix it up in a different way and come up with something different. I mean, I've managed to make a lot of records, and done a lot of stuff with very little vocabulary. And I don't even know how I've done that. I mean, if I look at it in a logical way, it makes no sense to me, because I'm like, well, how do I make all these tunes? You know what I mean? I don't know a million chords, but I've made a million tunes. So,
yeah.
So it's creativity. It's a completely different thing. It's like being able to take anything and make something out of it. That's what it's about. I think that's the thing, honestly. That's my greatest talent that I possess as a musician, is I'm able to take what I have and do something with it. I can't outplay anybody on any instrument. I can't be like, oh, I'm smarter than you, I'm faster than you, I'm more complicated with you. I can't do any of that, and it's not, I don't want to either, but it's that thing. But I can take what I have, and I'm very efficient with it. And I guess that's what I'm striving for. But it's also what I'm naturally good at. And I realize that. And I like doing it, and that's why I do it. It's just, it fascinates me. It never gets old. It's always such an interesting experience to make another song, to do something you haven't done before, or do something you've done before, but try to do it better. It's really interesting and really challenging. And, I never totally understand it. And I think that's a great thing, because if you knew exactly how, it would get boring, I think, when you know what the result is before you do it. I think it's that the idea is about when the music makes itself, it takes you someplace that you wouldn't go, because you're open for that to happen. You open when the road forks left, you go with it, rather than go, no, that's too this, or that's too weird, or that's too bluesy, or, you know what I mean? A lot of people are like that. They really do have boundaries, and they're like, nah, I can't do that because it's too this, it's too that, because I'm doing this. And I'm thinking it gets interesting when you allow yourself the freedom just to do whatever feels good,
When you let go,
Yeah, let go.
At the basis of all this is, I think, feeling and intuition are the biggest things,
Yeah.
and influences, of course, and all that. But the process of doing it over, the reason we never get tired of it, I think, is because we are always striving to make it better for, and like we said earlier, the channeling of if you're able to let go enough to let it flow through you, that's the magic. That's the magic that everybody talks about. We can't put our finger on it, but we know it's there.
Yeah.
So, but speaking
you spend all
about
your time, trying to get there for that, sometimes just for that one moment.
Yeah.
Just that one moment when everything's perfect in the universe.
Totally. It inspires us too. It's like, it's a kind of love that feeds more love, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me.
Completely, man. Completely.
But speaking about that, you, my friend, have been able to do an amazing body of work with all kinds of projects, 60 plus albums, I think.
Yeah, that's about right.
We got Young Gun Solar Fox, we have Ping Pong Orchestra, Shawn Lee, and Clutchy Hopkins, Lord Newborn, and the Magic Skulls, AM and Shawn Lee, all kinds of projects. My question to you now is, at some point in your career, you decided to take this to the next level. How did you become so productive at things that you were able to put out that much stuff? And what kind of advice do you have for producers who want to do the same thing?
I think, working fast for me is paramount. I've always worked fast, and I think I developed that, from the days that when you first went into the studio and you were paying for studio time, and you say you had 3 songs, you wanted to record them in a day, and you only had so much money, and you had to try to get it done, right? And so you kind of came in with all your ducks in a row. And so I kind of developed that sort of guerrilla style of recording from doing that. And I just realized that I really enjoyed that fast and furious kind of energy. And I felt like there was so much creativity in doing that and like coming in. And I think I developed that whole idea that I trust my ideas and I'm going to go with them. And I'm going to go forward. I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to like go, what about this? What about that? Is that, you know what I mean? To get over analytical. And I think people that get over analytical, I mean, I know loads of people like this as well. People that are so talented, but they can never finish anything because it's never good enough. And they're always trying to do something that's the best thing that they can do. They want it to be perfect. And I mean, that's just a crazy place to be.
No.
I think, it's about like trying to do the perfect thing in that moment as good as you can do it and being true to the inspiration and wherever your head was at. And I think, working fast and finishing is the most important thing. Whatever you start, finish it, and then move on to another thing and keep, repeat and rinse. Just keep doing that. You get better. And I think by doing that, every whatever, maybe, everything is a step to a destination. And sometimes you hit something really amazing because you've done all these other things before and everything just came together, and it just sounded right from the beginning and everything you did was right. And and you realize it just has something. The music jumps out. It's better than you are, it's just all the forces came together in the same place at the same time, and it's a beautiful thing. And I don't think you can get to that by being a sniper. I think you need to be like a machine gun. You need to like create, do, keep going. That's really important. Keep doing that. Believe in yourself and enjoy the journey. And those things will fall into place as you do them. You'll realize, okay, well, this tune, but this is the one. You know what I mean? You start to assemble, all those things, and they start to make sense, and the pieces of the jigsaw, come together. But my advice is to finish, work as fast as you can. Don't overanalyze, don't overthink. Be in the moment. Trust your gut instinct, and you are good enough. You don't have to be a virtuoso to make great music. Quite often people that have loads of technical facility, it's like they know tons of words, but they can't make a meaningful sentence with them. They couldn't make a simple one either. So it's kind of like you just need to do it. Just do it, man. Yes, it's not easy thing to do, but it's an easy thing to do if you just do it and don't get in the way. Don't think too much, man. It's like
That's
don't try to follow trends. Do music for the right reason because you like to do it and express whatever that is that's inside of yourself, man. And work with good people, positive people, people that inspire you, people that make you better. That's really important, and, I think you know, we bring people into our lives, other people that they recognize something in us that connects us. You know what I mean? The kindred spirits come together, and these things are rare. But you know, the more stuff you do, and the truer you are to doing it, you will attract, you know, other people, which that will then like elevate you and enhance what you do and make you better. Learn, you know.
That's awesome advice. Thank you for that. You know, getting out of our own way is an art, it seems like, and especially for the people who have accomplished so much in the way of you know, being a virtuoso on their instrument. They tend to get really critical about what they're doing, and like you said, you know, just getting out of our own way and do it and enjoy the moment as much as possible. Let go and let the magic come through you. You know?
Yeah, better is not always better.
Yes, that's right.
You can lose. Yeah, every time you correct something, you could be losing something, and the more you do it, you know, it becomes a game of diminishing returns, and you've taken the life out of something because you've made it too perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think the magic lies is in the stuff that isn't perfect. You know, it's something that hits the moment, something where you feel it. You know, it's not about being. I mean, we're of course we're trying to do things as good as we can do them. We're striving for that. In a way, you kind of don't want to totally be there, because where can you go?
It takes the magic, magic out of it.
Yeah. You just become too proficient, and that becomes boring.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's a funny thing. Never make it. keep making it.
That's right.